Hey everybody, this is Carl Ellwein Engines. Video today is going to be about basically from the start to finish of a rebuild. This is Jody Hall's engine. He sent it to me. I arranged for the truck shipping, and he sent a lot of parts and pieces along with it. His Lloyd Elliott heads, and he sourced out most of the parts. So I'm just going to arrange for the block getting bored and decked, and I'm providing the rotating assembly, eagle crank, Camshaft rods, and Molly pistons. Okay, so one of the very first things I want to do is I want to know what the combustion chamber volume is. If I order a flat top piston, that might be too much compression. And so if these are small chamber or if they've been, kind of like say hogged out to 60 cc's, I need to know. So I put my plate on there. I have a little bit of a relief made on that plate so it can fit over that valve that pokes out. I fill my burette up to 100 cc's. I start with that. Then I pour that in. What is left in the burette or in that graduated cylinder, it's not a burette, 54 cc's. That's what's left. So that's what the chamber volume is. So if I use a 0.027 inch compressed head gasket, like the Cometic gasket that I kind of keep in stock. If I use that and calculate the compression ratio with a minus 16 cc Molly piston, I get 11.0 or 11.1 to 1, and that's pretty friendly, streetable. All right, so in the meantime, I paint the block. In the meantime, as in while I'm waiting for the pistons to get here, I can paint the block. The minus 16 cc pistons did arrive, and then I can get a bob weight so the crankshaft can get balanced. I can move on here. What we're doing is we're going to measure the main clearance. So that's the crankshaft. Eagle crankshaft. It's a reasonable price for a forged crank, and it's a one-piece rear for an LT1. These are some of the identifying marks that I have, and that's the measurement on the number 5 journal. So transfer that to that dial bore gauge, and I get the ratings you see here.
So with these, this has been align honed, main align honed with ARP studs. So the caps have been fitted, and what I needed to do was mostly one extra size and a standard size, and these are 2 standard size, 1 over standard, 1 over standard, 1 over standard, to get this clearance. If I did standard all throughout, it would have been too tight. It would have been 0.0015. So I got 20, I got 22 thou, 0.0023, and then 0.0033 for the thrust. All set with the main clearance. Next is to put rod piston assembly together. Well, put the crankshaft in, and one at a time, without the rings in there, see if crankshaft clearance with the rod bolt clearancing right here. And if it doesn't have enough clearance, mark it. Put them all in there, and then take it all apart, everything all apart, clearance it some more, wash it again, then do it again. But the second clearance, of course, it'll be marked exactly where I need to go, and so it's not like I'm going to have to do it a third time. And put it all back together, put the camshaft in, put rods pistons in, and you'll have a short block.
Put the crankshaft in, I check thrust right there.
So for checking clearance, I do them one at a time, and this one is really close, so it needs to be clearanced right at that spot. And then you do the rest. You put it in this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And that's why it takes so long to do a stroker. Okay, preliminary clearance. I really have to clear here, here, and here. All the rest, the 1, 3, 5, 7 don't need any clearancing, and number 8 doesn't need clearancing. 2, 4, and 6 do. So this whole rotating assembly will come out, and I'll clear it at the bottom of the bore. Then clean it up, then put it all back together, and then there'll be a short block. Complete. This is engine number 128.
Okay, time to take it all apart so I can go do some more clearance in those 3 little spots.
Hey gang, Carl here. Additional clearancing, right? I've already washed this block, and what a pain. I have to get it dirty again and have to wash it again. What I'm going to do is minimize the amount of dirt that gets all in here. Look, this is from a glove. So I'm going to stuff rags in here. I'm going to clean it, tape it off, because I only have to clearance here, here, and here. So rags are trying to keep it so it doesn't go into the cam tunnel area and the other cylinder, the cam tunnel area and the other cylinder, the cam tunnel area and the other cylinder. This one I don't have to do. I don't have to clearance. It's going to get all in here, all the chips. All right, so got a clearance here, just a little more. That's really all I needed to do. Now look at how much of that. And clearance here. Okay, a lot of metal. Yeah. Come on. And the hard part is getting all this off without dropping it into the engine. For cleanliness, if you're cleaning stuff, make sure you do it somewhere far away, you know, outside, away from your work area. Clean your body off after you do dirty work, you know, grinding and stuff. So I brush myself off, or I air myself off. So I just put since it's so big to fit in your standard parts washer, I put it in the cart, wash it with the solvent, and I'll pump that back in to the tank. And I'm actually just rinsing. The cylinders have already been rinsed out. It just helps wash debris, and this will not make those stains. This is solvent based, so I don't have to worry about it. I do have to worry about the running out of solvent. So you'll hear the pump go. That's it in a nutshell.
Okay, time for camshaft bearings. Okay, time for some narration. That is the Urson cam that comes specified from Lloyd Elliott. The cam card right there. It comes with Cam Doctor, so it was measured to the exact, and some more numbers, identifying numbers that'll be for the records for the owner. So camshaft goes in with lots of assembly lube, and usually that cam pin is a bit too long, so I pay attention to that, because if you're going to use the torque head system, I'll make sure I shorten that pin a little bit. Now that's a picture of the steel ball for the galley that separates the oil filter passage, and getting ready to kind of finish the assembly, put the file fit rings in. I did 20 thou top ring, 18 thou second ring. After filing all of them, I install them on the pistons. Nice photo of the fully assembled rods and pistons and rings. Now I have not done rod bearing clearance check yet. That's my system. I have it all set up right there. So right now that's a 0.0020, and I'm going to show you what I do, my little system. I've already done 1357, and I think this is going to be like piston number 4. It might be piston number 6, can't remember. But put it in the vise, torque to 75 foot-pounds. Already double checked that stretches, 75 foot-pounds stretches it to 0.005, that rod bolt. Then I verify the bearing clearance, and I make sure I get whatever. I don't write anything down there because they've all been 0.0020, maybe 0.0021, close enough. So that one is also 0.002. Verified. Okay, so now I take it apart so I can get it installed. Bring it over to the engine. I make sure I pre-lube with oil on the skirt. I've already got the rod journals lubricated with assembly lube, so you won't see me oil up the bearings. I know I wanted to show you this one. This was typically how the rings slide right on in, and you have to be careful that they don't fall out of the groove while you're putting it in that ring compressor. So this one, like maybe, I'd say about 6 out of the 8 were nice and easy like that. A couple of them gave me a little bit of trouble. Now this next one, you'll see what I mean. And right here, I'm not going to torque the rod cap. I'm just going to get it cinched down with that weak impact wrench. That thing might torque to maybe 10 foot-pounds. I give the rod a little wiggle to make sure it's not binding. And now I'm looking for clearance. And clearance was good. Now I'm going to do the number 8. Excuse me. Now I'm going to do number 6. I'll slow it down when I get to the part I want to show you. So doing the same thing, pre-lubing right now, trying to make sure that the rings don't kind of fall out while I slide it into the compressor, and it feels a little weird. So I've learned not to press forward. I learned to just take it back and double check. Look here. Like the oil rail had slipped out, and get that back in there. If you end up trying to install that, that'll kind of bend over and scuff things up, and it'll actually ruin that rail, and you'll have to replace it. That's what I wanted to show you in a nutshell. You got to be real careful with these delicate 1mm rings and the 2mm very light tension oil rings. Okay, so after installing all of those, now they get the final torque, 75 foot-pounds. I put that feeler in there to brace them, and that's also the side clearance. It was 23 thou for side clearance. And that's technically a short block. Okay, I wanted to show you this. That's the drill bit side, a really little teeny drill bit that I drill the plugs for the front oil galley so they have a hole, and that is the part number for the plugs that I use, and there they are installed. And here we are with the rear main seal. I've already centered that housing, and this is provided by the owner. This is a Fel-Pro rear main seal, and have that installed in a perfectly centered housing so that it minimizes chance of leaking. This is the owner provided timing set. It's an excellent timing set. It does not have water pump drive provision, so that cam sprocket gear is basically like small block Chevy, but the timing chain is just like the Cloy's Extreme. It's the big motorcycle chain, very sturdy. So now that the timing set is in, I can measure how far the pistons are in or out of the hole, and that's the driver's side there. So it's -19 to -18 in the hole. And now to the camshaft degree. I double check on the camshaft degree. What I do is just check lift for intake and exhaust, and I check intake centerline. Those are the only measurements I take. So everything checked, and it was 105.5 intake centerline. And now to the owner provided timing set. He cleaned it up real nice, had it all packed and sent to me, and we plugged that, we as an I put JB Weld epoxy to seal up that spot right there for the water pump drive. That's what it looks like on the other side, clean and tidy. The owner painted that. It looks real nice. So the timing cover is going to go on. The torque head system's going to get pre-installed, and it's always easier if I can do it on the bench. So instead of you having to do it on the car, I put the ATI hub in, but then I had to pull it out because I forgot to put the spacer. Okay, so that's the hub without the spacer, or the crankshaft nose, and there is the required spacer. And I tried putting it again, but stopped about right there because it was kind of going crooked. Made a few little bit of gouges, so I had to file that off inside to make it smoother. I did it the right way the third time. Got it in there real nice, and then that's being aligned. The double row 24X is being aligned with that. I guess it's a alignment jig. So you center it, cinch it down, and that is the double row crank sensor. That one shim I put in there, and it was a light drag for the gap. And now the 24X is all aligned. Now putting the oil pan on. Look at here, I did not need to clearance for the windage tray. So those ARP windage studs were tall enough. Now that's a Melling 155 oil pump, and that's a high pressure standard volume oil pump. That's like about 3/8 inch gap between the oil pan bottom.
Oil pan is on for a test fit and to get the RTV to seal on the gasket. I only do it on this side, on the block side of the half moons. It seals quite well without RTV anywhere else, and that allows for the pan to be able to come off, and the gasket stays, the pan comes off. And I pre-clearanced right here for the connecting rods, number 1 and 2. The windage tray is already clearanced, already double checked. So there should be no reason at all that there isn't clearance. So, but before you get too far, spin and listen. It's good. Very good.
Okay, finish up. We're going to put the heads on. That's 0.027 inch compressed thickness Cometic gaskets. That's what's going to give us the 11.1 to 1 compression ratio. And these are pictures for the owner before I put the cylinder heads on, that Lloyd Elliott heads. And that's, I think, the passenger side one there. And here is the driver side one. Lloyd does a real good job with his cylinder heads and with speccing out camshafts. Now, the owner painted these. When I first got them, I thought they were iron heads because they looked like that. But anyway, now it's time to set up these ARP head bolts, get them all cleaned and gooped up.
My least favorite part of engine building, I hate having to clean brand new bolts. I wash them with WD-40, the threads, the hose surface, and then one more time, kind of getting the oil off with acetone. Then I put number 3 Extreme Lube under the heads, and I put the Permatex thread sealant with PTFE. And then it's all ready to torque to 70 foot-pounds.
Here we are. The cylinder heads are on. That's as far as I got to today. All right, this is Carl Ellwein, Ellwein Engines. Take care.